All right. What do you want to do?
Whichever you feel comfortable.
Marijuana blues?
Och vi har en gästartist lite senare också som spelar på vår nya platta vi gjort tillsammans, Big Fred. En god vän som jag har känt i många år. Som en underbar pianist.
Okay, and then I'm sorry to tell you this now, but there is a 10% discrepancy between the guitar and the harp.
No, tell us. Am I too loud or are you too loud?
Guitar.
Yeah. So see, as much as this technology is really good, it's still good to have your amp facing it because I can't hear the way I like to hear.
Yeah.
And with all due respect to Bose, I've been doing this about 40 years. I like to hear my amp pointed at me.
Right, and like, I mean,
You know?
we aren't hearing the harp out here in, I mean, we're hearing your guitar. Yeah. Your voice is great, your guitar is...
I'm going to do a little experiment,
Yeah.
Mr. Bose.
Okay.
Don't take no offense. But I got to do it my way.
Mr. Bose jangles it. Oh, I see, that's what that was, okay.
I got to like point it this way, because I can't hear.
Yeah, there you go.
And no matter what, even when you always, for what it's worth, when you play big concerts, and then usually it's going to be this way, they mic you, which is a very good thing because otherwise they wouldn't be able to hear. But then you're at the mercy of the sound man.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many times you're with the best systems, and if you got a sound man who just doesn't care, doesn't know, you're up there blowing your, I'm going like this, and they're going, what is that guy doing up there, you know, because there's no harp in the mix. And it's nice to know you got a friend behind the mixing board, whatever you play.
Yeah.
So you know you're in
too.
the mix.
Vocalists too.
Yeah, you know, it's like...
Everybody.
I gotta be louder than everybody, that's just the rule. Especially if I'm soloing. I gotta be... The band's here, and I'm not joking right now. If I'm soloing, I gotta be leading the charge.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if I'm right in it, it's like, what's the point?
Right.
You know, and sometimes sound guys are used to guitars and everything, and they'll have the guitar where it's supposed to be, but a harmonica, what's the point? You know, why should we have to hear the harmonica?
Typical in Sweden is to turn down the lead guitar when it's their lead.
Well,
that's what I've seen.
We'll
anyway.
change.
Anyway, no, but
let us know. Go like up.
No, you guys are good now, probably.
Turn down, or this is good. If you
Yeah,
just let me know that.
No, that's it.
There's a couple of harp players. Hur många munspelare i huset? Got Brian och Kristoffer. Är det några fler som munspelare till? I think you can tell them maybe a bit about your approach to the harp and the way you think when you play it, and maybe a bit of history about the way you started to play it.
Okay. One of the first guys I listened to was Paul Butterfield, and he was back in the late '60s or early '70s in America. He kind of brought his Paul Butterfield blues band with Mike Bloomfield and Elvin Bishop. They brought the blues to young white kids like me, and that introduced me to it. And I still like Paul, but from him I discovered Little Walter. I listen to Little Walter a lot. Still do. Still listen to Little Walter, and I like Taj Mahal a lot. Taj Mahal is I like just the way he approached the blues and guitar and vocals, but his harmonica playing is, I think, really underrated. He's really good. And Charlie Musselwhite I listen to. George Harmonica Smith, I liked him. Carrie Bell Harrington. Just anyone I could listen to. Even Charlie McCoy, I liked his style. I like to listen to anybody I could get my hands on. And pretty much, I took all those and mashed them up and came up with my own thing, which is, I guess, what we all try to do. And but I'm basically a blues guy, you know. That's pretty much what I do.
I guess most young people, especially when you're maybe in your teens and you're gonna start to perform in a band, you want to be either the lead singer and stand in the front and get all the girls, or maybe play the lead guitar, you got all the heroes. Was it, you never thought of being the front man or taking up guitar?
No, I didn't really, at first I didn't care about it, and then I saw, you know, well, it's not bad to sing a song or two, because you will get a couple of girls maybe. But you know, you better start singing, because usually sometimes there's no one else to sing. Yeah. And I don't know, I didn't really think about playing guitar too much. I mean, my first concert I ever saw was Jimi Hendrix, and I was like, wow, that was, I like to...
Quite a start.
Yeah, I would like to do something like that, but I couldn't afford a guitar, so I got a harmonica.
When did you realize that it could be a way of making a living?
It happened. I started playing at 15, and by the time I was 16 and a half, I was playing in bands. So for me, it happened really quick. I practiced a lot the first year. That's all I did. You know, played, and I kind of came up with this style real fast. I mean, I still learn all the time. And you have a really good harmonica player in this country, a lot of good harmonica players here, but I've been listening to Sven Zetterberg? Yeah. Sven, he's very good, you know, and I met, he was really nice. He was on the cruise, and he's like standing like right here on our show, like going like, I'm taking notes on me, and I'm like, oh no, I'll be taking notes on your record, you know. He's very good. So I was making a living, not making a living, well, I was making money, you know, by the time I was 17, you know. my parents would let me go and play in clubs, but they were not too happy with it.
And then you started to play the saxophone?
I got a saxophone when I was 18. A friend of mine didn't want to play it in school no more, and I had a few months left in school, so I asked him if I could borrow it. And again, I didn't get much chance to play in a real school band, so I had to learn how to... I played actually by numbers, you know, like I would know the chord, you know, like if Albert King was going off the G chord, he started the solo off, bending the 3 up to the 5. I would just learn things by numbers, you know, riffs, and then just kind of like transpose and translate it into every key that I could. And I learned how to read music eventually, but I kind of did it backwards by knowing chord progressions and...
I mean, the scene when you were like, you know, breaking your chops in the early days, doing club gigs, right? I mean, you were picking up, I mean, you were playing in bands like blues bands and shit like that, or rock and blues at the bars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I started out playing blues.
Did you do tour trips like around California with that shit?
Well, we toured up and down the West Coast, all the way up to Canada, from like Sacramento areas, Northern California, around San Francisco. We'd go up the coast to Seattle, then over to Spokane, then up to Calgary, Edmonton, and all the way over to, well, we did Saskatoon and Saskatchewan, all these places in the middle of nowhere. But I learned a lot. I think that's why with Rod it was like, you know,
you already paid dues.
And I was only 21, 22, and leading the band.
Right.
So I learned a lot.
And in Sacramento, I mean, like when you were doing gigs with those cats, like I mean, living in Sacramento, and I mean, there was probably a lot of bar gigs that you could pick up.
Yeah,
on,
it was really healthy scene.
Yeah,
we could make a good living actually back then.
It's a little different here because like in this town, there's very few places. For example, this is the 5th largest city in Sweden. There are very few places where you can get a gig in a club. You know,
it's hard now. I think in America the same way because. We were like, you know, there would be clubs that were really cool and everything's cooking. There were Holiday Inns. There was
I know that.
All kinds of places, but now these kind of places, they might have DJs a lot of times and no musicians. Right. You know, so we were fortunate to have those. And there was a thing. It was before disco. I'm dating myself, but disco hadn't come along, and we play like blues and we play some Stones. We play the Meters. We do whatever we wanted, and then Average White Band came, and it was called funk, and it was cool. And then disco came, and it was like, okay, man, we got to do this, you know. And by about that time, I said, it's time to go to LA. I had enough of disco, and but I made a lot of money playing all of that stuff, and I learned a lot. You learn about songs and song construction, and you know, you learn all the hits. You know? And it was good. It was good practice to learn all that stuff and learn the business. You know, there was no cell phones either. You know, I think how we did it all. Sometimes, you know, we'd be in the middle of nowhere and the car broke down. You know, how are we gonna get out of here?
Yeah, well, this country has a huge support system, like for the study associations and stuff for music.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's great like that, but it is difficult from the side of like the American scene earlier, with the bars on every corner and everything. Lots of rock and roll gigs, you know. Yeah. Not so much here.
We don't. To my knowledge, I don't think there's anything
like that
to help young guys. If there is, I never knew about it.
No, I never knew about it.
But I think it's great.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You guys take advantage of it.